This video is sponsored by HOVSCO. Okay, so today I'm riding on a pretty cool moped style electric bike. This is the HOVSCO HovGtrs. So this bike does have a normal price of $1,599, but it's on sale right now for its launch for $1,099. Really good price for getting a 750 watt motor that does peak out at 1500 watts. This does have a advertised top speed of 32 miles per hour, and it has a 48 volt, 15 amp hour battery that has an estimated range of up to like 65 miles. And the battery on this bike is removable, so you can take it off using one of the two included keys to be able to charge it inside, or you can always just leave it on the bike and charge it that way with the charger that comes inside of the box. And it takes around like 4 to 5 hours to get this thing fully charged, so not too long as far as like being able to get back up on the road. And all of this is packaged in a really cool looking bike here. It looks really nice and clean. You have nice clean lines going around it. The logos and the branding is not too overly done. And this has a motorcycle inspired headlight on the front. This is a LED headlight, really, really nice and bright at night. It did light up a lot of the path in front of me, so I'm really happy with the brightness on it. But one thing I definitely want to see in the next version of this bike is going to be turn signals. And it does have the buttons for the turn signals on the handlebars here, but you don't have any turn signals as of yet. I'm pretty sure you can probably add them in the future if you wanted to yourself. But on the back of the bike, you will find a brake light that's attached to the license plate holder. If you do want to add a legit or just a funny license plate on the back of the bike, you can do that. And then you also do get a rear rack. It's a little small, but again, it's there for just adding a smallish bag or something that you want to carry on this bike. You can put that on the rear rack. Now, as far as the assembly of this bike, it took me a little over an hour to be able to get this thing assembled myself. It will take a little bit more time than some of the other e-bikes that I've tested because you have to put on the seat, you have to put on the rear rack, you have to put on the headlight and stuff. Most of the time the seat is already like attached, but it wasn't anything hard at all. And it also does have a quick disconnect for the motor. So if you ever do need to take off the rear wheel and do any maintenance or anything, it makes it very easy to do that. And keep it with the theme of the moped style. This does have spokeless rims on it. So I love the fact that it's spokeless because you don't have to go back and retighten these spokes over time as far as maintenance. But most importantly, I think it adds a nice clean look to the overall style of the bike. Now you do have a pretty big display on this bike, so it'll give you your pedal assist level and also show you your battery that you have remaining, and also when you turn on the headlight, and it'll show you your distance travel and your speed. But one thing I will say is that in direct sunlight, it can kind of be hard to see the display sometimes, but I always leave my display a little bit loose so I can always just kind of tilt it up and tilt it down to be able to help with that. Oh, and let me mention that if you have noticed the display flickering when I've been recording this video, that's just my camera's picking that up. That's not how it looks in real life. Okay, so now for my speed test here. So this bike does ship to you as a Class 2 electric bike with the top speed being 20 miles per hour. But to unlock it to a Class 3 electric bike, you do need to use the app. So you download the app on your phone, and then after a couple of steps, you'll be able to get it unlocked to a Class 3 bike. And so I've already done that. So let's go ahead and get this first test using the throttle only, which is actually located on the left-hand side of the handlebars, which typically here in the States, they ship it on the right-hand side. But anyway, let's go ahead and get this test going in 3, 2, 1, boom. All right, so again, 750 watt motor peaks out at 1500 watts. And also this does have 90 Newton meters of torque, but we're already at 15 miles per hour. We are moving, baby. 20 miles per hour, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, even get 28, 27.2, 27.1. On the bike's display, we're showing 28, but on my GPS app, we're showing 27.6, actually. All right, so now for the same test, but using pedal assist. I'm in pedal assist level 5. I'm in gear 7 here on the shifter. So let's get this thing going in 3, 2, 1, boom. And here we go. All right, so this does have a cadence sensor here, so it takes about a half a second or so to go ahead and get the motor engaged here, but we are moving. We're already at 18 miles per hour, 20, 22, 23, 24, 26, and the bike's display is already showing 28, and we just hit 28 using the GPS app on my phone here. So now let's test out these hydraulic disc brakes that this bike does have. All right, pretty good braking power. So I think the brakes come in at 180 millimeters. So yeah, these brakes are pretty good and quiet. And so 28 miles per hour is a really good speed in both pedal assist and throttle. Sometimes you only get that in pedal assist, but you get that with both, which is nice. And I didn't get up to the advertised 32 miles per hour top speed, and different factors like how much you weigh and different things might play into that. But 28 miles per hour is like the minimum that I want to see from a class 3 electric bike, and this bike does get up to that. And so my suggestion to the company on their website and the marketing for this bike is to put like 28 miles per hour plus there, meaning that you should be able to get 28, and then anything above that is definitely going to be a bonus. So that would just be my suggestion. But again, I'm happy that 28 miles per hour is achievable on this bike with how heavy I am right now. And again, hopefully I'll lose some weight, so maybe I can go 29 miles per hour. All right, so we got a nice little downhill section right here, and here we go. Oh yeah. So this bike does have dual suspension. So the front suspension, I didn't see any like technical specs for it on their website, so I don't know how much travel it has, but it's not adjustable. I do know that. Then you do have rear suspension, so it's actually like underneath the seat. So right in the middle of the bike, that is going to be adjustable. So I would say overall, you know, going over cobblestone and other different rough terrain and potholes and stuff like that in the road, this bike handles well. I wouldn't really describe it as like an off-road e-bike that I would get for off-roading like first as far as its purpose. It's more of a road type of e-bike. But I will say when you combine this with the very long saddle or the very long seat that is on this bike, you get a comfortable ride in most situations. And so the advantage of having a seat that is going to be long like the one on this one is that you can adjust your seating position depending on how tall you are. So the recommended rider height for this bike is going to be between 5'2" and 6'4". And as far as weight, this bike can support up to 450 pounds. So as I pop this curve and then I jump off right now, oh yeah. So yeah, this bike, you know, I would say is on the smallish side when it comes to the overall design of it, which isn't a bad thing when it comes to moving the bike around and stuff and taking it on and off of your like bike rack and stuff. So I like how compact it is. But for bikes of this size, if you do have long legs or you're just tall, it does make a difference when you do have a seat that does have a pretty long length to it. So you can move up and down to be able to get that position that you want, especially because unlike a traditional bike seat, you can't raise or lower this seat. And as far as how it feels to pedal, you can see that my knees do come up a little bit here, but it's not as bad as some other more compact bikes that I've tested in the past. But yeah, I wouldn't say that this is a pedal first bike for someone over like 6 feet tall like I am. But I will say that if you do want to pedal and you just want to take advantage of that pedal assist and then get that longer range, it's not going to be, you know, too bad. And as far as the tire size, this bike has the typical 20x4" fat tires. So this helps with the overall ride. And you do get front and rear plastic fenders to help protect you from splashes and dirt and stuff like that when you're riding around. And as far as the actual weight of the bike, it weighs a little over 70 pounds. So that might sound like a lot, but it's not nowhere near the heaviest e-bike that I've tested. So in this type of moped style, this is a decent weight. And I also like the fact with the design of the bike, because it does have a little bit more of an open frame, you have a lot of places where you can grab onto, you know, as far as like the rear rack or the middle of the bike to be able to pick it up and move it around. All right, so now for a hill test, I will just be using throttle only here. And then this is a pretty long, steep hill. So let's see how this thing performs in 3, 2, 1, boom, here we go. So we are in pedal assist level 5. And we're gonna give this motor a nice little chug here. We're already at 10 miles per hour, which is pretty good for this hill, especially in this price range. We're at 11.7. Okay, we almost hit 12. All right, we hit 12 miles per hour. And boom, we got up that hill with no problem. So yeah, pretty good performance as far as like the takeoff speed there and just handling my weight. Again, I come in around like 215, 20 pounds right now. So yeah, this bike got up that hill with no problem. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the range goes up to 65 miles, but that's while using pedal assist. And pedal assist means that when you are pedaling like I am now, the motor is going to kick in and then help me along. And you do have 1, 2, 5 as far as the pedal assist levels that you can go into. So 1 is going to be a little bit slower and 5 is going to be the fastest. Now, the type of range that you are going to see, it depends on the wind, depends on how heavy you are and what type of terrain you're riding as far as like going up hills and stuff. In my testing with using throttle a lot, I've been able to get around like the low 30s. When it comes to my range. But of course, if I am going for longevity, I would have used pedal assist even more. Now, this bike also does have a walkie mode. So when you press down and hold on the minus button for a few seconds, it will turn on the motor in kind of like a low power mode. And and this will allow you to move the bike around a little bit easier, or if you're trying to walk this thing up a hill, it just helps you out some. Okay, so I think that's about it. So a couple other things, the handlebar grips are really good, and you do have a 7-speed Shimano shifter on here that works really well. And all of these things with the bike, with getting up to that 28 miles per hour speed, which I like, and also just the very comfortable seat and the comfortable ride for a short bike like this, I'm very happy with the performance that you're getting with this. And so down in the description of this video, I will be dropping an affiliate link that will take you to the website where you can go buy this bike for yourself, and that does help support this channel, so I do appreciate it. And if I do have any type of discount codes or anything like that that can help save you some money, I'll drop that down in the description as well. But like always, I do want to thank you for watching this video. Drop a comment down below and let me know what you think about this bike. But other than that, I will catch you later. Peace.